This is the Car Wash on Laduma Radio.
And I do think sometimes that makes it more difficult for them to cope with pressure. And that's probably also why we don't have as many South African players in the overseas leagues as I think we potentially could have.
So as three individuals who've been elite level athletes, I think we can all agree that he's saying some interesting things there, though. And it speaks to not only Tokelo Rantie, but a lot of other PSL players from the past.
Yeah, I know Clinton. I used to see him, three out of my 8 years at Ajax. And he does add value, and I think it's a massive part of one's career. And what I do like what he said is that clubs shouldn't see it as their responsibility, but as an investment into their players. And I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And we've spoken about at length about players after retiring and they go missing and they're too scared to talk about, their life and this and that. But this sort of falls into the same category where you talk about psychology, you think, oh, he's weak. He's mentally weak. How can you go see a psychologist? Where I think everybody should be seeing some sort of life coach or psychologist. And I think in Tokelo's instance here as well, it's obviously very psychological where what has gone wrong and why he's sort of been led off the path. Tex, your take on this, bud?
You?
It's a big one.
It is.
Did you ever see a psychologist or life coach?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. I have before. Sorry. Where's the water?
Yeah,
you're off for. Look, I in this sport, there's lows and there's lows.
Yeah.
In terms of your lows, you'll go to your lack of form, your lack of confidence, your lack of drive, those type of things, your lack of interest in the game.
Yeah.
And your lows, my friend, is when you're dealing with your inner demons, like nobody knows about them. Once the game is finished, you wish that you don't go home, and you sometimes you find a player that is so good, but he can't find a team. You're failing to understand what's the reason why he's so talented. Those are your lows, comrades. That's when you start seeing who's really, really for you, because now everybody, you start seeing the numbers are getting less and less and less of people around you. And that's the situation you don't want to find yourself in. But also what's important is...
That situation is probably where Tokelo...
That's where he is right now. And it just that the problem also is when I was... Not in a similar situation that he is right now, but when I was dealing with my own demons at the time, I surrounded myself with bad people as well, people that couldn't tell me anything.
Makes it worse.
It made it worse. Until, some sense got into me, like, dude, you are the breadwinner here. So these guys, you get them chicks. You buy them booze, you buy them condoms, chief, you're actually sleeping at your house.
Yeah.
So you're providing everything for these guys, and there's nothing that they won't even wake you up to go to training.
Yeah.
And I realized that, if I continue this path, I'm actually going to be exactly like them because what was scary was the guys they were my friends at the time, they were thinking that...
Are they still your friends?
No, not a chance. No.
Yeah.
They thought that they supposed to be the position where I was because they were footballers as well. So they think, we should be living this life because when I was around, they were doing things that I was doing. I'll be in the national team camp, but they'll be driving the cars and they'll scratch the cars. They'll wear my clothes, and all that kind of stuff. So I'll get calls like, hey, chief, we see... Aren't you in camp? Because what are you doing? It's this in this place. I'm like, dude, I'm in camp. Like, no, we see your car here. And at that time, they don't even call you to actually tell you that they're going to drive your car. The decency. And also sometimes, because when you're living in an estate, when there's a noise, the security will call in. They'll call me, like, chief, can you please lower the volume? Chief, I'm in camp. We're doing video session there. We're doing video analysis. I'm getting calls from the security to lower the volume. Yeah. And whenever I call them back, they don't pick up because they know what the issue is. Yeah. Then I realize that, guys, I'm actually setting myself up. And I think it's a case where it's very common in the PSL with our players as well, because what kills us is we're so loyal to people that actually done nothing for us, but they just gave you a piece of bread. We're not loyal to people that actually help us to grow as people. We're just loyal to people that are our runners, for instance. We know every guy, I think, in the PSO that is so cool.
So that's why it's so important to surround yourself.
Yeah, so you always have a runner, a person that actually go buy ice for you, go buy boost for you. You know, we always have those kind of people. So we're loyal to those people, but they're not bringing any growth. They're not bringing any.
We call them yes men.
Exactly, we have those kind of guys, and most of the time when you find similar cases like this, there's always somebody that the person that is a victim is so loyal to, and I think that's the problem that we as guys as well, and also the problem is our culture. We were taught not to speak about our problems. We don't speak about depression in football, and it happens.
You look weak.
Yeah, and I think without disrespecting Tokelo, I think Tokelo's booze issue is just a cover up of a bigger issue that is deeper than that. And if he can deal with that issue first, the booze will go away, because he's trying to hide. I was doing that. I was trying to hide my issues with my booze, because I was like, guys, I mean, I need to do something about this. But the only thing that actually could make sense, that was making sense to me at that time, was my constant visit to Tops. Tops was my best friend. I would walk into Tops. Hey, comrade.
Hello, Teko.
Hello.
The usual, sir.
Yeah, the usual. So I'll get those things. And but I never dealt with the issue. And it affected my 2 years of playing, because I wasn't actually dealing with the issue itself. I wasn't fighting enough for the issue to be resolved. I thought that it would resolve on its own, and it never did, and it killed my career. Luckily, I got a chance at Sundowns where I revived myself, and then the rest is history. But I think with Tokelo's case is we cannot ignore this situation, because there's so many players that are going through the same thing right now that are still playing.
Players reading this saying,
this is me.
100%.
This is
but
me.
I've still got a job.
It's just that the advantage is they're able to wake up in the morning and go to training.
Correct.
But the disadvantage is that's why we don't see the consistent performance week in, week out.
Correct.
You see,
Their lifestyle.
this is the biggest
The reason
issue.
why they're not playing overseas.
I think also what we need to also speak about, Sean, is, guys, it's okay to drink. Footballers drink. We know. It's not a secret anymore. Footballers drink. Even the ones who played before us, trust me, they were drinking cheap stuff that will make them not to perform to the best of their abilities. But I think that the problem is the amount of intake that we're doing. You know, we're training Monday to Friday. We're playing on a Saturday. We're off Sunday. We're killing ourselves on Sunday. Monday we're back to training, because we want to cover the whole week of non-drinking. Not understanding that, guys, you can have a glass of wine every single day.
I was about to say,
and still
everything in moderation.
Exactly, and still perform.
And also not use drinking as a coping mechanism, but rather as just a celebratory thing. You know, just an accomplishment-based system where it's like, I'm not drinking just to cope.
Chief, our culture, we drink celebration. We are crying. We drink. Any emotion, my friend, we drink. Funeral there, after burying that person, bring the drink, we drink. We do every emotion that we're going through, we're using alcohol. And also, we grew up like that. We grew up seeing our parents doing that. So whenever we're in a position now where we can buy our own booze and nobody can tell me anything. You cannot tell me not to drink. I've got a job. I'll tell you. You know what I'll tell you? Because of you are a yes man, you'll tell me, hey, Chief, you're playing Sundowns over the weekend. Are you the one who's playing? Go buy me a gin and tonic and then stop talking too much. Because of you also want to be my friend, because everybody knows that you're my friend. You want to still be there wherever I go. You want to go and buy those without telling me the responsibility that I have. But it also comes back when you're 32, 33-year-old. Now, this is actually the period where you're supposed to get your big contract or your last big contract. You don't. And you look at those guys, the very same guys that you were with, that were playing. They're the ones who are talking about you, but don't tell me about Sean. Sean was useless. We were telling him to go to training, but he was not. Lying. They never told you anything.
So in a nutshell, can Tokelo bounce back?
It's up to him.
He's 29.
I'm saying he's 29 years old. He's got 7 years left in him. If he's
what he's going through, for him to bounce back, it needs to humble himself and go through the situation that he's dealing with and give himself time.
And who should help him?
Build a character. I think
because he's obviously not, I wouldn't say prepared. He's obviously not in the state to help himself or wanting to help himself. So who needs to take responsibility to help him because he's a hell of a talent.
Yeah, it needs to be a club that has the facilities. Someone who
is it a club because they've tried.
Guys, let's not sugarcoat this thing, please. I love Tokelo, and I was happy when it was a Cape Town seat. I wish that he could play and help us.
Yeah,
I was very excited to be thinking that I'll be able to play with Tokelo, but at the end of the day, he's the one that made all those decisions.
Correct.
Where he is right now. So I think the only person that can help him is himself. But now for him to actually be in that position to help him, so he needs to realize, he needs to say, guys, I need help.
I've got a problem, yeah.
I've got a problem.
Yeah,
but if he's in denial, we can try everything. We can carry him to a rehabilitation center. If he's not ready to be helped, he will never be helped.
Yeah. And so he needs to say he's been featured in the latest edition of the Soccer Laduma newspaper. His mentor actually reached out to the team here. He said that TK sent him a long SMS saying that he's embarrassed and that he needs someone in his life like a father figure, like Farouk, who was at the Stars of Africa Academy. And so it looks like he's trying to reach out for help. But I think he just needs to be a little bit more proactive about that. He's 29, but that doesn't mean that he's got forever to fix this. He'll need to.
He's at his prime. Just to conclude,
my issue is with this mentor stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think this mentor, we need to define this, because he left Cape Town City for the same reason.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm a mentor, I would have helped him then. I wouldn't wait for it to be so publicized and so spoken about and then come out and say, I'm a mentor, I'm going to help him with. Cape Town City is a very small team.
Sure.
He could have helped him here.
Good
he
point.
went on without having a team for almost 6 to 7 months. Where was the mentor? So now you come out and say to the media, like, he sent me a long SMS. Come on, chief. Help the guy. If you want to help the guy. But you could have started way earlier when you realized that if you're a mentor, you should have known what is happening with your boy. If you didn't know what's happening with your boy, you're not a mentor. You're just a fan. It's just like me. So stop saying you're a mentor. Farouk can't stop saying you're a mentor, because if you're a mentor, you'd have taken responsibility when Tokelo was still playing for Cape Town City.
Damn!
Points have been made.
You're watching The Car Wash with Teko, Modise and myself, Sean Roberts. You can listen to the full 1-hour episode on slradio.co.za or subscribe on Spotify, Google Play or Apple Podcasts to make sure that you never miss an episode. Check out the video description for links.
This is The Car Wash on Soccer Laduma Radio. This is Ohlangana Corner.